Hey, welcome back. Back at it again. This week we'll be getting the subframe and the rear diff and all ready, and see if we can't get that LS motor between the frame rail before it goes under the 67. Let me just kind of show you what's happening here. So for the 67 Camaro, this is the subframe, the rear end for it that was already in it. This was a running driving car. And Troy pulled the motor out and put in that blue Chevelle that I showed y'all in the last video, so he could take it on power tour. And the car just needed to be gone through and redone. It had been done years ago, but here we are. So here's what we're going to be doing this go round for this video. I'm going to strip this whole frame down, sand the frame, paint the frame, get it ready to put that LS in. Same thing with the rear end. I'll be tearing it partially down, brakes, so forth, getting it all cleaned up, getting paint on it, and we'll see. I'm not exactly sure what the configuration will be when this is back together, but we'll figure it out when we get there. And this is a LS 5.3 liter. It came out of a truck. So it's iron block, aluminum heads. Fairly low miles. The truck had been wrecked. It was somebody that Troy knew. It was his, a friend or whatever. So he bought it wrecked. So we're not even going to build it because we know it's a good motor and it was fairly low miles. So, we're just going to slap it in. It'll be fine. But we're going to paint the block and do some other stuff to get it ready. So I just wanted to catch y'all up on this. And let me show you what Troy's going to be doing while I'm over here working. So while I'm over there working, Troy's going to be working on these doors. He's working on body gaps. Basically, there is no adjustment on the quarter panel, so you start adjusting the next thing up, which is the doors. Right now, there's basically no gap at the bottom, so he'll get that set and then see how the doors fit. And if he needs to add material, all you do is just take and add a weld at the edge wherever you need it and then grind it down to what you need. And if it's too tight, you can grind it back, add a weld to weld it back together. It's not that big a deal. And he's going to do all the body work on these doors. I'll probably have to help him put them on stands. And he's going to get those knocked out while I'm working on this other stuff. And who knows how far he'll get this week. So first thing I'm going to do is get this thing up on jack stands. And then I'm going to pull the wheels and tires off of it and just pull all the suspension out of it, steering gearbox and all that. And we'll strip it down to the bare frame. That's where we're going to start today. So let me throw you all on a tripod and I'm going to get to it and see how far I can get right quick. All right, Troy and I rehung this door. We got the gap along the bottom really nice. The body lines fit nice, but the rear door gap is a little off. So You see he's wrote add here. He's actually going to add a little bit of weld along that edge, probably down to about right here. Make that gap a little better. See this yellow line? He's actually going to cut all the way down and re-weld all that to create a nice seam for the door gap in the back, and this door will be good. We actually hung the other one too, but the gaps on this side look really nice. We set the bottom just like the other side, and then the door gap over here looked really nice. So it's just that side that needs adjusted. He's going to get on that. I'm going to get back to blowing this frame apart. And if you're wondering why we have to do this, these aftermarket panels are just, you know, stamped, and they're all different. I've seen them stacked together and they'll be different. So just in case you're curious. All right, so let's see where he ground it down right here and added the weld back in. Now we have a nice consistent gap all the way down. Matches the other side. Much better, right? Here's what the inside ends up looking like. You end up with just a normal seam, but you can see it gets a little thin right there, but there's no avoiding that, but you weld it all back together and it's good to go. So I just pulled the spring spacers out. I had 2 on the driver's side, 1 on the passenger side. You know, if you need to lift your car to get it home or whatever, you take whatever. But those have been riding in there a long time. That ain't the right way to do that. Everybody used to love the jacked up look. Of course, that's pretty well a thing of the past now for most people. But just buy big block springs and put in it. That'll lift it. That's not the way. So this frame has drum brakes on the front. I already pulled the other side off, and I got thinking, some of y'all may not know how to pull drum brakes off. These actually have a spindle in the center, and then the brake itself will slide off. I had to take the other one off as an assembly because the brakes are kind of stuck on this thing. So we'll see how this one comes apart, but I thought I'd set y'all up so you could see it a little better over here. We're not going to reuse drum brakes. We're going to put disc on the front, but we do need the steering arm off of this, which is right there, and it's bolts on, 2 bolts. Damn, look at that, air chuck broke. Got another air chuck in. Let's finish this up. There we have it. I've already taken that lower castle nut off. I'm going to smike it right there and separate these. one side. There's the other. So I got all the control arms off. And I'd already taken the upper bolts out of this earlier, but I thought I'd show you to get the lower mounting bolts out of these motor mounts. You actually have to come in through the control arm. You see the bolt in there, or the nut. That's how you have to get in there to that. That's the only way to get in and out. So if you're ever changing over the motor mounts to solids or polyurethane or whatever, you're going to have to take those lower control arms off to get to that. By the way, pretty much all the suspension that I took off, we're just going to toss it. It's got tubular control arms coming for it. The only things we really kept was the steering gearbox. It's fine. The springs, which may or may not get changed out. And I kept the drag link and all that because it wasn't in fairly good shape. It needed to be greased, but it was fine. And there's the brake lines. They may even get changed. So yeah, that's where we're at. I'm gonna go ahead and get these motor mounts the rest of the way out. And then this thing's just about to the point that it's over as far as taking it apart. Well, we got it all tore down, got it outside, soaking in some degreaser. I'm gonna hit her with a pressure washer. Let's see how she turns out. Hey, good morning. I'll give you an update on what all's happening today, or this morning. Yesterday, you saw me pressure wash the frame. We're actually going to take that thing and have it powder coated this morning, drop it off. Let me show you what else we got done and kind of where we're at this morning. So the frame came out clean, but it is, like I said, we're going to take it out there and they're going to actually pressure wash it, or they're going to sandblast it and then powder coat it for us. The rear end is a known good rear end. It doesn't have any issues. So I'm just going to actually scuff it up and shoot it black. It'll be fine. There's no point in tearing a perfectly good rear end down just to have it powder coated. And then the same way with the steering. I've got it sitting out here for now, but I'm actually getting ready to clean all that up and scrub it down real good and get it ready to just be cleaned up and painted and put back on. There's nothing wrong with any of it other than the outer boots are a little worn, but the actual joints were fine. I'm going to jump over and show you where Troy got on the doors yesterday. Both the doors got a couple coats of mud yesterday. He's down to the point now, it's just working out the tiny spots. It's not really much left of it. Those will be slicked down, I'd say, by the end of the day today. In primer or ready for primer. Doors were pretty good, but the peaks, they just get hammered over the years by door dings and whatever, and that's really what these were. They were just light door dings. So it's got a real thin coat of mud on it. And, yeah, so they'll work out just fine. They'll be fine. And then he started working on the top seam. This thing had a roof skin put on it and a new quarter put on it. And he's started working that seam down yesterday too. So that's where we're at. We're going to take that frame to the powder coater, and if we got a minute and he's got a minute, I may show you around there. But anyways, I'm gonna get back to work. Got the frame dropped off. Got a nice little setup in here, but hopefully we'll be making it up in a few days. Get it put back together. I have taken a little road trip. We're at Kyle's Camaro, and Camaro with a K. He's in Knoxville. I guess I'm in Knoxville. Yeah, I'm in Knoxville. And this cat, he don't advertise or nothing. I didn't even know it existed, and I've been in the Camaros my whole life. But I thought I'd show you some of the stuff he's got in his little showroom in here. It's pretty sweet. If you want anything from him, I'll post his phone number and stuff, but he don't deliver, he don't mail nothing, and he don't take a credit card. You got to bring this guy cash and come buy it. So just keep that in mind. But anyways, I'm going to go there and look around. There's Kyle's phone number if you decide you need to call him on any of this. Look at all this stuff here.
Yeah.
He has got a lot of NOS stuff, it looks like, and just all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
67 grill.
He's got a few things. I forgot what all these, what he did. He had a buddy with a hunting pod.
Yeah. Yeah, he said, I didn't even know he was over there.
He's even got a few third-gen parts. Look at those. You can't see for the glare, but it's got a nice set of IROC Z gold centers. You don't see those much anymore.
Yeah, Greg said he told me right after he left here. He said, I appreciate you doing me better.
All sorts of stuff.
Had a Nova. Who had a Nova?
I love places like this. Kyle's got himself a really good looking white and orange convertible 69. Got the houndstooth interior. Man, this thing is nice. I've spared y'all me cleaning all this up, but I ran all these parts to the parts washer. These are the spindles for the disc brake setup here. And we're going to spray all this stuff with a hammered silver so it'll look good underneath the car. I'll just set y'all up on a tripod right quick, and I'll get our first coat sprayed on that. And we'll just keep on moving. All right, we got everything sprayed silver that's going to go silver. Got the rear end painted. All these are good parts. The only thing that was wrong with anything that I know of was the every one of the boots on these were ripped. Every one of them. I don't know, whatever. We'll order new boots, but there's no reason to throw away perfectly good parts when you can just reuse them. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that stuff. So we'll put all that back on the car. Same way with the rear end. This rear end was a good rear end. The brakes are even still good on it and everything. This car was built not too many miles ago, I would think. It's been several years, but they built it and it just sat. So, but the build on it last time wasn't that great. So here we are, freshening it up, making it nice again. But yeah, rear end turned out nice too, I think. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the brake lines put back on that rear end, and there's other stuff to do. I got springs to paint and stuff like that. So I'm going to keep doing the detail work. Let me show you all what Troy got done yesterday. He got all the doors roughed in. Actually, they're way past roughed in. They're almost finished. He's got a guide coat on them now. They weren't terrible. They've got mud in them, but the mud is pretty thin. So they'll be fine. So yeah, they're going to turn out just fine. And then yesterday, we got the pieces for the outer cowl came in, or we went and got them. Actually, that's what we went and got those at Kyle's. That's why we were up there. I think Troy's going to try to get the doors wrapped up today and start in on this. I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. I won't be in here when I'm doing it. I only have one camera, so yeah, I'll keep you all updated on his progress as well. So I'm going to get back to work. Troy was taking this piece out over here with an air hammer. Look at that. Broke spring clean off of it, you know. Pretty sure that's one of those Harbor Freight branded ones. But they work great till they don't. He's looking for another one. He's going to try to finish this up. But it's only down to just a handful of spot welds. But that'd be terrible to knock out by hand. Troy's got the panel out. Got it all cleaned up. It's ready to rock. And that's what you look like. Really don't need a lot of fancy tools, just some basic air tools. And you can fix just about anything when it comes to sheet metal that way. So we're just test fitting this inner panel. And you can see the inner structure there. That's all one piece. When you get it, it just kind of fits in place. Of course, this side will get welded in to the piece of metal I put on for the firewall. And then we cap it off. That guy right there, and boom. Just like that, she'll be fixed. It's a lot better than just covering up damage with a fender like the last guy did. The inner piece is all in there and welded in, spring sealed. So he puts his name on it and a date. Maybe the next guy will know. He's getting ready to cap her off, and that's pretty much that. That cow will be fixed. I been in here working on the rear leaf springs. We're just cleaning them up, getting them ready for paint. I tried a scraper. I've tried everything. Best thing that's worked has been just a razor blade. Get this old undercoating off. We'll get them sprayed and have them looking nice and ready to go back on the car. But yeah, scrape, scrape, scrape. Got the leaf springs all straight down. That really took some doing. That old undercoat was really on there. Got the bushings knocked out. Anybody that's ever knocked bushings out, you know that took some doing too. I'm got both of them hanging up. I'm gonna shoot a little paint on them. All right, she's all welded in. Look at that. Just a little seam sealer and she's done. Now don't worry, no weld through primer was harmed in the making of this. I know some of y'all really like your weld through primer, but I've taken a lot of old cars apart with a lot of seams. I've never had a problem with rust in a seam. So there she is. He even put a little extra weld across the top to help it keep from leaking in the future, because water will set there. But anyways, there she is. She's wrapped up. All right, next up on the agenda, we're going to doll this baby up. So the block's going to be orange. Timing cover is going to be that same silver I've been using. Troy also wants the heads and the valve covers painted that same silver. And, you know, it looks good for a long time. This aluminum, you know, dull and it ain't gonna look good. Doesn't look good now. So I'm gonna pull the starter and the dipstick tubes and get after it. So this one didn't get the heads painted, but you kind of get a look at what we're going for here. Orange block, silver heads. I think these are going to have a silver valve cover. He actually uses a cool cover on the muscle cars, but yeah, this thing's a monster. Got the leaf spring brackets sandblasted and painted. Painted the traction bars. They may be going back on. He doesn't have the stock plates, so he may, I don't know what we're gonna do, but these are painted anyways. The motor turned out really nice looking. I'll show y'all. I got a little bit of footage of that, but I think it looks really good. And just cleaned up a few parts, and there's the other oil pan that we're gonna put on it, and we'll just keep on working. Well, here's a look at all the parts that I cleaned, and there's some brake parts back there for the front end, and hopefully next week the frame will be back from the powder coater. We'll see how that goes, and we can start putting this thing back together. Well, I'm gonna wrap this up here. This video has just been details. That's what makes the difference between a good looking car and a car that's just thrown together sometimes. So thanks for watching. I do appreciate it. And I painted stuff that y'all didn't even see. There's so much of it. And this video would have been 3 times as long if I had got it all. But anyways, we'll get back after it next week. Who knows what will be on then. So, yeah, please give me a big thumbs up if you would. And check to see if you're still subscribed. My subscriber count goes up, and then it just drops again. So I think YouTube's unsubscribing some people for me. But anyways, if you would, if you're watching this, just look and see if you're still subscribed. I'd appreciate it. And if you're not subscribed, let's go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Don't cost a thing. Appreciate y'all watching.